Hello, my name is Gav Cross. I'm a storyteller, but I also like to read supernatural stories, which I do live here on Twitch, Mondays, 9 o'clock. Tonight, I'm going to be reading some short stories from this selection here, Ghost Stories, chosen by Robert Westall. And the story I'd like to read is Was It a Dream? By Guy de Maupassant. I had loved her madly. Yesterday I returned to Paris, and when I saw my room again, our room, our bed, our furniture, everything that remains of the life of a human being after death, I was seized by such a violent attack of fresh grief that I felt like opening the window and throwing myself out into the streets. I could not remain between these walls, which had sheltered her, which retained 1,000 atoms of her skin and her breath. I took up my hat to make my escape, and just as I reached the door, I passed the large glass in the hall, which she had put there so that she might look at herself every day, from head to foot, as she went out, from her little boots to her bonnet. I stopped short in front of that looking glass in which she had so often been reflected, so often, that it must have retained her reflection. I was standing there trembling, with my eyes fixed on the glass, on that flat, profound, empty glass, which had contained her entirely, and had possessed her as much as I. I felt as if I loved that glass. I touched it. It was cold. Sorrowful mirror. Burning mirror. Horrible mirror. To make men suffer such torments. Happy is the man whose heart forgets everything that it has contained. I went out without knowing it towards the cemetery. I found a simple grave, a white marble cross, with these few words: She loved, was loved, and died. She is there now, below. I sobbed with my forehead on the ground, and I stopped there for a long time. Then I saw it was getting dark, and a strange mad wish, the wish of a despairing lover, seized me. I wished to pass the night in the weeping on her grave, but I should have been seen and driven out. How was I to manage? I was cunning, and got up and began to roam that city of the dead. I walked and walked. How small this city is in comparison with the city in which we live. Yet, how much more numerous the dead are than the living. We need high houses, wide streets, and much room. For the generations of the dead, there is scarcely anything. The earth takes them back. Adieu. At the end of the cemetery, I was in the oldest part, where the crosses themselves are decayed. It is full of untended roses, of strong and dark cypress trees, a sad and beautiful garden. I was completely alone, so I crouched under a green tree and hid myself amid the thick and sombre branches. When it was quite dark, I left my refuge. I began to walk softly. I wandered about for a long time, but could not find her tomb again. I went on with extended arms, knocking against the tombs with my hands, my feet, my knees, my chest, even with my head, without being able to find her. I groped about like a blind man. I felt the stones, the crosses, the iron railings, the wreaths of faded flowers. I read the names with my fingers. I could not find her again. There was no moon. What a night. I was horribly frightened in those narrow paths between two rows of graves. I sat down on one of them, for I could not walk any longer. My knees were so weak, I could hear my heartbeat. And I heard something else as well. What? A confused, nameless noise. Was the noise in my head? In the impenetrable night? Or beneath the mysterious earth? I looked all around me. I was paralyzed with terror, cold with fright, ready to shout out, ready to die. Suddenly it seemed to me that the slab of marble on which I was sitting was moving, as if it were being raised. With a bound, I sprang on the neighbouring tomb, and I distinctly saw the stone which I had just quitted rise upright. Then the dead person appeared, pushing the stone back with its bent back. I saw it quite clearly, though the night was so dark. On the cross, I could read, "Here lies Jacques Olivan, who died at the age of 51. He loved his family, was kind and honourable, and died in the grace of the Lord." The dead man also read what was inscribed on the tombstone. Then he picked up a stone off the path, a little pointed stone, and began to scrape the letters carefully. He slowly effaced them, and with the hollows of his eyes he looked at the place where they had been engraved. Then, with the tip of the bone that had been his forefinger, he wrote in luminous letters, "Here reposes Jacques Olivan, who died at the age of 51. He hastened his father's death by his unkindness, as he wished to inherit his fortune. He tortured his wife, tormented his children, deceived his neighbours, robbed everyone he could, and died wretched." When he had finished writing, the dead man stood motionless, looking at his work. On turning round, I saw that all the graves were open, that all the dead had emerged, and that all had effaced the lines inscribed on their gravestones by their relations, substituting the truth instead. And I saw that all had been tormentors of their neighbours, malicious, dishonest, hypocrites, liars, rogues, that they had stolen, deceived, performed every disgraceful, every abominable action. These good fathers, these faithful wives, these devoted sons, these chaste daughters, these honest tradesmen, they were all writing at the same time on the threshold of their eternal abode the truth, the terrible and holy truth, of which everybody was ignorant or pretended to be ignorant while they were alive. I thought that she also must have written something on her tombstone, and now running without any fear, I went towards her, sure that I should find her immediately. I recognised her at once, without seeing her face, and on the marble cross where shortly before I had read, "She loved, was loved, and died," I now saw. Having gone out in the rain one day, in order to deceive her lover, she caught cold and died. It appears they found me at daybreak, lying on the grave, unconscious. Was It a Dream? By Guy de Maupassant. Read by me, Gav Cross, from this selection, Ghost Stories, chosen by Robert Westall. It comes with some selections, some images, select images. That's, I'm guessing that's who. And this is a picture of the cemetery, like a Doctor Who baddie. It is a spooky book cover. One of the live chatters on Twitch, Gigi. And then here's a picture of the first man writing his own honest epitaph. Or was it a dream? What do you think? Let me know. Leave a comment. Thank you for your like, your subscription. It means a lot. It really helps me. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers, then I can go live on YouTube. There are so many stories here that I've recorded, most of them cold readings, for good. I'm not a medium. I'm a 4XL. You can also find me on Twitch and on Substack. Let me know what you thought.